So in this video, we will be looking at how to identify variables and coefficients in terms. So variables are symbols that represent numbers and expressions, and they're usually denoted by letters. So we could have a variable like x, and this could be set equal to 5. We could also have the variable y, and this could be set equal to a number like -7. Our next definition is coefficients. And coefficients are numbers placed in front of a variable when we are multiplying the number and variable. So if we write out something like 3b, we know from our variable definition that b would be our variable. Now our coefficient is going to be our number that is placed right next to this variable. So our number is 3, and that's our coefficient. It's basically being multiplied by our variable. Our final definition is term. And terms are single numbers or variables, or numbers and variables multiplied together. So we could have a term that could be just a single number, like -2, or we could have x, a single variable, or we could have a number and variable multiplied together. So it's -2x. And of course, this would be our coefficient, -2, and x would be our variable. So let's look at some terms where we can identify our coefficients and variables. So our first term will be 4x. So our coefficient is going to be the number multiplied by our variable. So we have this number here, 4, and we have x. So our coefficient will be 4, and our variable or our letter here will be x. So C, I'm just going to use C for coefficient, that's 4, and V for variable, and that'll be x. In our next example, we have -3x x squared. So our coefficient is our number, and that's -3. So remember to include your negative sign. It's not just 3, it's -3. And our variable, this time we have our exponent 2, so we must include that, and it'll be x squared. In our next example, we'll be using the formula for the area of a triangle, and that's 1/2 BH. So in this example, our coefficient is our number, 1/2. And for our variables, as you can see, we have two letters, B and H. And our variable can consist of more than one letter or symbol. That means we have to include the B and H. So our variable will be BH. In our next example, we'll have x, just the variable x. So as you can see, with our coefficient, you can't see a number. But if you remember, everything is going to be multiplied by 1. So it would just be 1x. Even though you can't see it, it's multiplied by 1 because 1x is the same as x. So that means our coefficient will be 1. And our variable is, of course, our letter, which is x. So now for our final example, we have 17, just the number 17. So our coefficient now will be our number, which is 17, and our variable. So as you can see, there's no letter or no symbol here, so we don't have a variable. It's nothing. Unlike here where we have to add this 1, there's no variable here. There's no variable that is hidden, so we just write none. that concludes this video about variables, coefficients, and terms. I hope you enjoyed it. In our next video, there will be an introduction to polynomials. So stay tuned for that. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. Thank you.